Nice. Which school?
Jayapura.
No one. Yeah. एक्स्ट्रा पेन ऐड है आज मैंने एग्जाम में मेरी लास्ट पेन खत्म कर दिया नहीं एक्स्ट्रा पेन
ओ फ्रेंड मैं forgot my exam ना मैं पेन बोलूं
हाँ वो वाला बंद हो गया लग तो वही रहा है कि ऑन नहीं किया उजाला
अच्छा लगेगा I don't know pen got over during the exam time.
You know, it took me like a lot of struggle trying to find out. मैं क्लास में मार्किंग सामने वाला उसने खुद borrow किया था विराट शर्मा you know right?
Yeah.
मैं उसके पास खुद का कुछ नहीं था he borrowed my rounder, my pen, my scale.
Same.
The homie borrowed my highlighter for some reason. Sheet पे highlight कर रहा था वो.
We don't have to write a letter on highlight.
There's this weird invigilator we got for the past 2 days, the dance teacher. You know, somehow he gets offended by the tiniest little thing and then he'll take your paper. So glad that was not me. Vedant Soni, you probably know him, the weird fat Gora guy. He's okay, I wouldn't say that about anyone else, but he's a menace to society. Trust me.
I'm gonna do it with the pencil.
I don't think you're supposed to do it with a pencil.
Yeah.
Can I sit here?
Sure, I guess. I didn't really want to be confident, just want to sleep.
Honestly saying, you know, I stayed like 45 minutes after school. I was with my friend.
What can you do with so many pens in your hand?
I forgot to give the pen I borrowed.
Oh, that way, that happens so much. You are having so many.
I have black pens.
You're having so many pens. Is this a song?
Oh, that's glitter pens, highlighter pens, then highlighters, and markers. Yeah, that's all. There's a power cut at my place today. I could not even charge my phone properly. The whole entire society is out of something.
They don't have. Is there a best sector also?
I'm not sure about that because everybody who's living here is out of power, and the only reason they use the electricity generator is to operate the grid. They don't have much electricity back home. You missed out today on a lot. You should have stayed. We went to classes with ashrams, you know, all the councils. We did conservation of energy, conservation of water, and healthy life like presentations in grade 6.
Oh, hi. Oh, that was a lot.
We had a meeting and we are discussing about a scientific exhibition. I think the council is holding a scientific exhibition.
Oh,
it's not us doing it, it's us managing.
Oh, that sounds so interesting.
I came up with the idea of an art exhibition and then I thought about, you know, like the school won't really like people displaying art.
But science
sounds fun. We got it approved by Ashram, so we got it approved by because what the nahi hone wali. I hate you. Yeah. Science. Mala hoga to the मला काय करायचं मला वाईट होते मला वेगळी वाईट I'm so proud of you, Rabba. Welcome to main section.
How does it feel?
The exact feeling we had like investigators के दिन पर तुम लोग का ceremony कब है 15
Oh,
we are holding. We divided everybody into teams for 15 hours. What exactly have we done? See, it's as usual every year, Kala assembly, but we have divided it into a more efficient manner. House captains go for stage duty, like stage management. Then, okay, a couple councils have selected a few councils to go for what is it? Felicitation and plantation. And then, plantation. The plantation will be done by the Masons. Yeah, listen, the badging and commencing the event will be done by Masons, and the rest are there for hospitality and management. Okay. Yeah, last year I was assigned hospitality best work. You get it's kind of weird. You get put on chef hats and weird aprons. That's not the point though. Like you get to talk to very important people personally. पांच स्टिल दिए थे मैंने संडे को तो कितनी देर बैठे और एक लेक्चर अटेंड किया था एक्स्ट्रा क्लास का इधर 5 टेस्ट दिए थे तो जिंदा है I'm so proud of you भाई मैंने एक ब्रीथिंग लिया है she was breathe little bit and you want it you can take अरे no Manisha give it जल्दी से लेके आ बोल दिया तूने क्या किया था टेस्ट एक बार मैंने किया अरे भाई भैया ना अब से नीचे बढ़ी मैं मैंने सुबह आज पूरा केस किया है मैं क्या एग्जाम में मैं 3 मैथ्स कुछ नहीं I just this time the exam was very easy because it was like every branch of crime was getting the same test this time so they made it really easy. See, when I was doing it nicely, very nicely, then they changed it. Oh my god, that's when stress came, panic came, and I forgot all I knew. Okay, I was cursing at the examiner. What did you do? Don't do that. That is dangerous.
Good evening. क्या हाल है?
बहुत बढ़िया.
सबको मार्क्स मिल गया आप लोगों को.
Exam moment was so good. This year, all the exams they were so easy.
अच्छा. So like super easy.
But then some people were like the paper was too difficult. I did not find it difficult. Which one? All the questions were primarily from chemistry and biology. They did not ask anything from physics.
Physics they didn't ask.
Chemistry they had a lot of questions.
Okay. So you have to refer full UT volume.
Yeah, I only studied with UT volume.
That is what is because it is
it's not
it is a cluster of all the books, questions. So this is it.
I also did S-Chan after I did.
S-Chan also you have to take because but after referring all the. जिज्ञासा, what about you? कैसा गया आपका?
अच्छा हो गया सर.
हो गया. और मार्क्स मिला?
हाँ.
कितना मिला आपको?
23.
हाँ, very good. Out of 25, 30. और मानस भी आपको कितना?
35.
Out of 40 से मिल रहा है.
Wow.
Okay. और क्या नाम है आपका? झुंझुनवाला. What झुंझुनवाला? अग्रवाल झुंझुनवाला. Really, first name is what?
First name Bhavya, sir.
Bhavya. Okay. Which school?
Sir, from Jaipur.
Jaipur, yeah. What's your name? Isha. Trisha. Okay. Trisha, your exams are over. Come. Acha, you are in Poddar. Okay. So, how was your exam?
Very good. I got 31.
Okay, great. And you?
Sir, actually, I just came out by giving my first time in DPS in Nasik.
Acha, Nasik. You're from Nasik. Okay.
No, sir, I'm from Rajasthan, but as my father is having
shifted, okay, transfer, okay. Sit down, relax. Okay, we have done last topic, na?
For atoms and molecules, yeah.
What? No, atoms and molecules, nahi.
Structure of atom, yes.
वो उसका last part करना है ना अभी. Start किया है ना topic.
Atoms and molecules, I'm confused.
नहीं, atoms and molecules so already we have done last time, na?
One sheet
honestly कितना किया आप लोगों ने? Check it out. क्या किया उसको जाओ?
35.
Absent थे.
Last कौन सा डे था क्लास में भी absent था?
नहीं, present थे.
Monday class नहीं था.
नहीं, last Monday there was a class ना?
Last Monday, this Monday
अच्छा
नहीं था Monday.
ये Monday नहीं था क्या?
Maths.
अच्छा maths था, ठीक है.
तो last time
तो हमें स्ट्रक्चर एंड आइटम स्टार्ट करना है.
हाँ.
Okay, structure of atom start करना है.
Yes,
ठीक है.
sir.
चलो let
We
us start.
completed the previous chapter.
Okay, okay.
That's what I was saying. Atoms and molecules.
Right. I think so. Last week we did not do that.
Never.
Structure of atom.
Wow.
This is the last chapter. ठीक है? What is the page number?
Page number 63.
50.
63.
63. Okay. Volume. You have got the volume?
Yes, sir. I got it.
Volume मिला आपको?
Where is my pen? There was a box pen.
So let us start working on this structure of atom.
Oh, okay.
Now, what is an atom? You know very well. What is an atom? Atom is the smallest. Okay, indivisible, invisible.
Invisible? Huh? What?
Yes.
Indivisible and
Indivisible and invisible.
I'm pretty sure we can see it.
Wait, how can you see it?
microscopic.
No, that is now, of course, refined microscope. We are able to see the molecules, but not still atoms.
We cannot see atoms.
We cannot see atoms. We cannot, because atoms are too small. Clear? But high resolving instrument, we can actually nowadays. I mean, if there is a powerful electron microscope, we can see an atom. But this was, for example, a definition of a scientist, so not a scientist, in fact. Okay, it was a definition of. Let us complete this. Smallest indivisible, invisible, hollow, structureless, spherical. Structureless यहाँ पे दिया है, okay, but बाद में सब लोग बोल रहे हैं कि it is structureless, ठीक है, hollow, structureless, indivisible, invisible, okay, hollow हो गया particle.
So can we turn off the fan? I'm really cold.
Huh?
I'm
Turn off.
shivering. Can we turn off the fan?
Okay, where is the switch? Okay, smallest indivisible, invisible, hollow, structureless particle, which may or may not. Which may or may not exist independently. अभी मत लिखो, पहले सुन लो. But can take part in chemical reaction. Take part in chemical reaction. इसका मतलब क्या है? And this particular idea was given by a scientist called, not a scientist, in fact, he was a schoolmaster from England, John Dalton. In 1808, this was the definition. Okay, a schoolmaster from England. From England. So this, according to the gentleman, atom is indivisible, smallest, okay, the smallest particle of the matter, or
How
the
can
smallest.
we say it's hollow?
Yeah, hollow. Now, what is the meaning of hollow? That means it's
Empty from
completely
the
empty. Completely empty.
It's just
Okay.
a shell.
That means only, for example, it is like, something which is not in the form of mass, it's form of energy. Because जो चीज hollow रहेगा तो उसमें matter नहीं है, उसमें energy है. ठीक है? So let us understand the smallest indivisible, invisible, hollow, structureless particle which may or may not exist independently, but can take part in the chemical reaction. But they found that atom is not completely hollow. Because when they started discovering, for example, the particles, okay, they came to, for example, they were discovered three important particles. One was proton, second was electron, and third was neutron in an atom. And this proton was discovered by for example, a scientist called E. Goldstein. And he said protons are positively charged. Okay, protons are positively charged particle with a charge of +1 unit and mass of 1 unified mass. J.J. Thomson was the other person who came out with what, for example, this concept or this particular experiment of electrons, the presence of electrons by one experiment called cathode ray experiment.
Yeah.
J.J. Thomson, and he said electrons are denoted by E, -1 charge, opposite of the charge on proton, and the mass is almost negligible. Okay, neutrons, according to Chadwick, scientist called Chadwick, okay, later discovered that neutrons are actually what? Neutral, and mass is almost equal to the mass of proton. Clear? In other words, if you place 1840 electrons on one side of the balance, on the other side of the balance you have to place, for example, one proton. That is, one proton is 1840 times heavier than mass of one electron. ठीक है? तो हम लोग को fulcrum यहाँ पे balance हो गई. So that means electrons are actually having negligible mass. Okay, so now the question arises, how these particles are arranged. Then the idea of, or the structure of an atom, the study of structure of atom started. Sir, how to understand the arrangement of these particles? Where exactly these particles are present or situated? So scientists, they started giving models, and the first model which was given was by, we can say, Thomson only. This J.J. Thomson, he came out with the first model, Thomson's model of an atom. But his model could not actually convince the other researchers. So another man came forward, Rutherford's.
This model was inaccurate, right?
We are going to see that. Rutherford's model of an atom. But his model also was incomplete. So his co-worker, his student, okay, he came out with this model, and it is called as Bohr's model of an atom. So आपके syllabus में नहीं. And the moment we are able to give the Bohr's model, that means structure of atom is complete. Okay, let us understand कि ये क्या है. But before that, write down, and then we'll discuss out one by one. ठीक है? So I think a very short topic, short and sweet. ये topic बहुत ही short है. तो इसमें I think so next lecture it will get over.
Next lecture.
August end तक आपका portion complete. Redlin, you will be super happy because you will not come at 4:50, you will come at 5:20.
No way.
Only maths lecture होगा आपका Monday को.
Kind of sad though, we like chemistry lecture. They're fun.
हो गया सबका? लिख लिया सबने? लिखो.
Chemistry only has 4 chapters. Wow. Oh yeah. Oh wow. Yes.
Yeah, but this has a lot. It can't be. It makes us learn this.
Yeah.
What's the name of the last person who discovered neutrons?
Chadwick.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so let us understand this particular structure of atom in terms of Thomson's model. Thomson was the first person who came out with this model. Okay, let us understand this. Okay, now, so let us understand these 3 models over here, and then our topic will get over. But now let us first understand. So I divide this particular board into three parts. One is Thomson's model, second is Rutherford's model. But Rutherford's model, before we understand that model, we have to first understand what experiment led to this model. We are going to see that. Okay? So, क्या वो उन्होंने क्या experiment किया that led to this particular model. Okay? So let us understand, and then last but not the least, Bohr's model of an atom. Niels Bohr from Denmark. Okay? He came out with this particular model. He was a student of Rutherford. Okay? But Rutherford was unwell in the last few days of, or maybe months of that research, because he was continuously getting exposure of radiation. Okay? Because he was working with
what exactly is radiation?
Radiation, a radioactive substance. So he was working with those radioactive substances which give harmful rays. So he was becoming unwell and weak, and therefore he took over Bohr, his student. Okay? So like Rutherford was his guru, we can say. Anyway, Thomson's model, according to Thomson, if protons are positively charged, okay, and if electrons are negatively charged, तभी neutron discover नहीं हुआ था. Okay? He said atom can be considered as a sphere, okay, which is consisting of, for example, positively charged particles throughout the body of this particular mass, which is, we can say, not hollow, which is actually what concrete, and this is actually what, and in this particular, for example, spherical mass, which is consisting of positively charged particles, the electrons are embedded in a very disciplined manner. Okay, in this particular sphere, and therefore the number of protons, that is the pink part, is equal to the number of electrons, and therefore these negatively charged particles are called as what? Electrons. Okay, and the positively, this particular sphere is nothing but what? Positively charged protons. So number of protons are equal to number of electrons. So that means that particular hollow nature of this particular atom was contradicted by Thomson. Okay, so he said it's like a watermelon model, where the fruity part is nothing but the positive part, and the seeds which are embedded, the black color seeds embedded in that particular fruity part, that particular fruit is, we can say it is electrons. Okay? But this model failed. Why? Because Rutherford was working on an experiment called scattering of alpha particle experiment. Okay, what is scattering of alpha particles experiment? Now see, during this particular scattering of alpha particle experiment, now what is this alpha particles? That time a man called Henry Becquerel. ये देखो क्या होता है कि आज suppose for example some event took place in your school, let us say in your house, in your neighboring house, same kind of event, same kind of means some other event is happening in somewhere else. That means what is important over here, as they were doing the research on atom, on some other end, okay, certain other scientists were doing some other job or some other research, and Henry Becquerel was a person who was doing some work on, for example, some minerals, okay, some bizarre kind of minerals. Now these minerals, what you like, suppose this is a lab of Henry Becquerel, okay, a man who actually gave the idea. This is, for example, the window of this particular lab, and this is the table where he actually used to work. Here and here, of course, there are other things also we can say. But this gentleman who was working over here, he actually was studying about a particular, let us say, stony kind of material or mineral, and then full day he was actually working on the composition. He was trying to understand various physical and chemical properties, and then in the evening he became tired. So what he did, he wrapped this particular substance, this mineral, here in the black paper and kept in the drawer or in that particular shelf. Next day when he came, he found that the moment he opened that black paper, he found some white spots on that black paper. He went near the window to see whether sun has actually has come up or not. There was no sign of sun. Means it was a gloomy day like this, as we are having this gloomy day when sun is completely covered by the clouds. Okay, so there was no sun. Why he went over there? Why? Because to see whether sun has sent some harmful rays which has led to this particular kind of spoilage of the black paper. but there was no sign of sun. Then he came to a conclusion that the white spots which are there on that particular black paper is due to what? Some kind of very strong, very energetic kind of rays given by this particular this substance. Okay, and he came to a conclusion that there are three kinds of rays: alpha, beta, and gamma. Alpha rays are actually positively charged particles. Means those rays are made up of positively charged particles. Okay, where alpha rays are doubly positively charged particles with a mass of 4 units. Beta rays are actually what? Negatively charged particles like electrons, and mass is negligible. And gamma rays are energies. That means they are not particles. They are massless and chargeless. Chargeless and massless, we can say. Okay, so he came to a conclusion that these are the particles given out by this particular substance. So this is not an ordinary substance. This will be called as what? Radioactive substance. So he initiated the process of radioactivity. That's why he's called father of radioactivity. Clear? Okay, so on the basis of that, Rutherford was working on this particular, because when he got the news about this radioactive substance, so he tapped that particular results. What he did, that time Marie Curie she detected radium. Okay, another person from Paris. Okay, she graduated from Paris but born in Poland. She was born in Poland and graduated in Paris. So she isolated 2 elements. One was polonium and other was radium. Polonium after the motherland, Poland. Poland का नाम पे उन्होंने अपना ये element का नाम रखा. और radium because radioactive substance. ठीक है? तो यहाँ पे ये this radioactive substance was kept just next to it. Okay, Rutherford had kept, for example, one metal plate with a small gap. Okay, so that these alpha particles could pass through, which are positively charged particles. And then behind this, he kept gold foil, very thin gold foil. Why gold? Because highly malleable. तो उन्होंने इतना उसको flatten किया कि वो actually what? We could not flatten further. Okay, and behind this, he kept a zinc sulfide screen. ठीक है ना? यहाँ पे screen पे उन्होंने paint किया zinc sulfide. Now what is the property of zinc sulfide? Zinc sulfide का मतलब क्या है? It's like a chemical. तो जब ये white color substance है basically, तो जब कोई भी particle strike करेगा इसके ऊपर, the moment they strike on this, with the help of that kinetic energy will convert into what? Light. So it is to produce brightness over there. Clear? So on the basis of this brightness or the number of fluorescent particles or fluorescence produced, okay, due to this experiment, they came to an understanding that what should be the model of an atom. So let us understand. So he found that most of the alpha particles went straight, passed through this gold foil, and they came on this particular, and a lot of flashes of light were being seen. 99.9% alpha particles were coming on this. They had counters. Counters ka matlab hai, they used to count the number of particles coming on this. Okay? Like as we have nowadays, what? Smart watches. They can count our number of steps. They can count our heartbeat. They can count our pulse beat. So usme counter lage the yahan pe. And if kuch connection tha counters like pulse beat as we count, likewise the number of particles striking on that, they used to count. They found that few alpha particles, okay, were moving in this manner, very fractional value. ऐसे गया और थोड़ा सा deflect हुआ, smaller angle. Okay, so this deflection also he observed, but very few flashes of light being seen over here. But one alpha particle showed a bizarre kind of behavior. What is that? It went straight, struck that gold foil and came back, 180 angle. It went there, came back. Just like a child is actually going to school, okay, touched the gate and came back to his house. This was very much, for example, something which was not expected from the child. That means 1 out of 10,000 alpha particles, they showed this behavior. In a 9,999 alpha particles could be recorded over here, but एक alpha particle को record नहीं, ये child absent था, ये particle was absent from that count. So they came to a conclusion that ऐसा क्यों हो रहा है? So Rutherford, he said that if suppose atom is like hollow sphere, as Thomson, he said, okay, why most of the alpha particles went straight? It is because the alpha particles are moving straight because atom is largely hollow, as John Dalton mentioned. So his particular theory was true. Unlike this, this theory is wrong. Because he said atom is concrete, but actually atom is hollow. Why? 99% particles were passing through the gold foil without any deflection. I am able to move in this room, in this space. Why? There's a hollowness over here. But अगर ये bench को penetrate करके जाना है तो I am not able to do. यार अगर कुछ solid particles are there in the atom, then they would actually obstruct these alpha particles. But 99.99% of the alpha particles went straight, indicating that atom is largely hollow. Okay, but then finally, why this one alpha particle or few alpha particles were moving in this smaller angle and one was moving in a larger angle? So he said that some alpha particles were moving. They must have actually come across to, for example, some kind of particle in the center of the atom which was having the same charge as alpha particle, but having a high density. Therefore, it could not deflect that particle or that body. Instead of that, they were getting deflected. That means alpha particles के पास positive 2 charge है, इसके पास positive charge is also there, and due to that 2 like charges will repel. But then what about that one alpha particle? So that particular, according to Rutherford, that one alpha particle was lucky to have an head-on collision, and due to that head-on collision, it came back, struck that, okay, and then came back.
So can we turn off the AC? It's
Huh?
Can we turn
Cold.
off the AC?
Where is the switch? Switch is
We have to
outside.
get a remote.
Huh?
No, Sharan uncle ने मना कर दिया. अच्छा.
क्या?
We get up and turn off the AC. Sharan uncle asked us not to.
Not.
Yeah, we'll have to get
Okay,
the
okay. I'll just tell him. Just wait. Huh? Let me just finish off. So one particle went straight. It could not strike. I mean, it could not actually deviate or deflect this particular body. And this particular body must be having very high density. Okay, and this particular body must be having very high density. Why? Because mass also must be very high. In other words, if mass is high, that means what? And density is high means what? Volume must be very much less. Okay, that means this particular densely charged body, okay, which is in the center, he called it as what? Nucleus. And then what nucleus consists of? The whole mass of an atom is concentrated over here, and which is consisting of what? Protons and neutrons. That time neutron also was detected. Okay, of course, after a few years. But then finally, and what about the electrons? According to the gentleman, okay, Rutherford, he said electrons are going to revolve with a very high speed around the nucleus. They will not be remaining inside the nucleus. Because atom का structure बिगड़ जाएगा, यानी collapse हो जाएगा. So electrons are going to revolve around the nucleus in such a manner that the inward force and outward force will balance each other. वो speed ऐसा रखेगा कि ना अंदर आ सकेगा ना बाहर जा सकेगा. Because अगर speed ज़्यादा बढ़ गया, it will be thrown out. अगर speed कम हो गया, तो nucleus will suck inside and atom will collapse just like a black hole. Black hole सब चीज को absorb कर लेगा. Okay. So Rutherford का ये model was considered to be what something in connection with what John Dalton. It was okay, like because and imagine how this particular microscopic world. Okay, how we can imagine this? You imagine that you are keeping a tennis ball over here and going 5 kilometers away, and observe that particular tennis ball from that 5 kilometers. First of all, you will not be able to see. So ये nucleus और ये first orbit यहाँ से शुरू हो रहा है. So much of space is there in that. Yeah, maybe outermost shell देख ले. But then scientists were actually what? Very much happy with Rutherford. They said congratulations. But then some scientists were jealous of Rutherford. That how come so fast Rutherford could manage this model of an atom? This jealousy is something which is a natural tendency of human being. ठीक है ना? कि क्या अरे उसको मार्क्स कितना ज्यादा आ गया और मुझे इतना कम आ गया. ठीक है ना? तो क्या हो रहा है basically? So this kind of for example. The competitive spirit in a negative manner is called jealousy. Okay, so some scientists ने क्या question किया Rutherford को कि ये model तो right लग रहा है, but then there was a theory which came forward during that time, and that was which was called as classical electromagnetic theory. He said that whenever a charged body के around में another charged body is moving, so that charged body when it's moving in a circular path, then every time at every turn पे वो एनर्जी अपना लूज करना चाहिए. There should be a loss of energy to the surrounding. Why? Because जब वो tangential path follow करेगा तो उसका energy, because it is moving in a circular path, it has to lose energy. So when it has to lose energy, it will not come in the first full circle करने के बाद इधर नहीं आएगा. Where it will come? It will come closer to the nucleus. Why? इसका energy loss हुआ यहाँ तक. फिर again taking one circle, it will come over here. Here. And therefore what? After some time, what will happen? it will go into the nucleus. And scientists were so happy to actually what? Devastate this particular theory or contradict that they calculated also. कि अगर ये true है, तो within 10 raised to minus 8 second, atom will collapse. And they started their celebration. ये scientists ने start कर दिया अपना celebration. खाना पीना खाना शुरू कर दिया. Okay? अब इन लोग को मालूम पड़ा कि यार 10 raised to minus 8 seconds have passed. But nothing is happening. Is this wall falling down? No. Is your finger becoming smaller and smaller? No. Is this bench crumbling down into pieces? No. That means what I'm trying to tell you, if every material is made up of matter, is made up of atom, then if this is true, applicable for atom, then definitely everything should crumble down or collapse within 10 raised to minus 8 seconds. That means this particular theory, which was anticipated by the researchers, other researchers, was not applicable. Then you will say, sir, this theory is wrong or this theory applicable to atom is wrong. This theory applicable to atom is wrong. Why? This is for bigger objects. An atom is like, it is not, it is for bigger masses we can say. But what is atom? Atom is not mass, it is, it is antimatter. अब जो चीज माइक्रोस्कोपिक है उसको क्या बोलेंगे? एनर्जी, which is antimatter. Antimatter का मतलब है एनर्जी. It's like saying this way, you are actually what in 9th standard now, and a small child which has taken birth just 2 minutes back. Can we apply the same rule as we are applying for you to that particular child or that infant? No. So get up, dress yourself up, go to school. ये इस child को नहीं बोलते, उसने अभी तक आँख भी नहीं खोला है, और आप उसको बोल रहे कि brush your teeth, teeth का भी अभी तक grow नहीं हुआ, yes or no? Okay, that means whatever rules are applicable for bigger objects is not applicable for smaller masses or smaller particles like atom. Therefore, this theory was considered for only for bigger objects like planets and other bigger bodies, but not for microscopic. One important information which Rutherford lacked was what? Sir, exactly where the electron should be present. How many electrons should be present at a certain distance from the nucleus? He did not mention. Clear? So the distribution of electrons around the nucleus was not mentioned by the scientist called Rutherford. Okay, so uske liye his worker, his student came forward and he said that I will show to the world that how atom is stabilizing itself. Okay, we are going to see that. So ye pehle likh lo, and then I'll just arrange for the this thing. AC. AC बंद कर दो. और fan चालू कर दो. Right ना? After some time. हाँ. चलो ड्रॉ कर दो जिससे कि क्या ये सब मत ड्रॉ करना, ये सब जस्ट फॉर योर अंडरस्टैंडिंग, ये सब जस्ट टू शो यू बिकॉज़ these developments which are going on. How many are absent today? Who's absent? जिज्ञासा, कौन absent है? आपका partner absent है? सिद्धि is absent. Then
Akshara never attends.
Akshara is absent continuously.
Akshara does not attend Monday lecture.
Monday's lecture, हाँ. She is having some class, ना?
Yeah.
Okay. रिमोट इधर दे दो, जब आपकी जरूरत पड़ेगी. This is collapse of an atom.
You cannot destroy atoms, right?
No.
Why so?
Because basically mass can neither be created nor be destroyed. But now it is with the help of certain instruments we are able to split an atom into what? Protons, electrons and neutrons. But then the atom का existence क्या हो जाएगा? Break हो जाएगा ना? It will not be called as an atom. जैसे गाड़ी का टायर निकाल दो, इंजन निकाल दो, it will not be called as a car, right ना? And those parts will be called as spare parts. But when you assemble, then it will become a vehicle, isn't it? वैसा है. तो जब प्रोटॉन्स, इलेक्ट्रॉन्स और न्यूट्रॉन्स साथ में आ जाएंगे, तो एटम का एक्सिस्टेंस भी रहेगा. Okay? Okay. Now let us come to Bohr's model. Now this is one of the basic limitations of Rutherford's theory, that atom is not stable. यानी atom का structure अभी तक complete नहीं है. क्यों? Electron का positioning उन्होंने बताया नहीं. Protons और electrons ठीक है, but electron का positioning अभी तक तय नहीं है, यानी clear नहीं है. He said electrons can revolve anywhere outside the nucleus, but where exactly? How many electrons? What distance to electron should be present? So he did not mention. It's like saying this way, like suppose for example, if this is a classroom, okay, here the teacher is standing, okay, and यहाँ पे tiny tots are actually lined up over here for the first day of the school, okay, and I would see like we senior teachers are actually what given a kind of task for one day to manage these tiny tots, okay. We normally have a habit of teaching the, let us say 9, 10, 11, 12, ठीक है. अब ये teacher है, and then now these are tiny tots coming for the first day in the school, nursery. अब यहाँ से ये gate है, ठीक है. Here the benches are arranged, those small benches. If you remember your kindergarten school. Now students are told to come inside, okay. And teacher is saying, now come on, go back, go to your seats, okay. Sit at your places. Now what these tiny tots will do, has the teacher given a proper instruction or any, for example, let us say a proper kind of guidance to the students, tiny tots? No. So what they will do, okay, come on, sit anywhere. Now the moment the teacher says, like teacher is like Rutherford over here, so big scientist like Rutherford, okay, was taking for granted that the students know where to sit. So क्या हो रहा है, ये बच्चे लोग क्या किए, for example, कोई जाके टीचर के टेबल पे बैठ गया, कोई नीचे बैठ गया, ठीक है, कोई वो गोद में बैठ गया Rutherford के. Why? Because they are not aware. और कोई इसके ऊपर बैठ गया, instead of sitting on that particular seat, he sat on the desk. Okay, the child's, that means what is important, the class was looking very much irregular because these tiny tots are not aware. So हम लोग को instruction, that's why those lady teachers, are tiny. Are normally, for example, kindergarten teachers. Why? Because they know very well that these, children, they require very soft kind of, for example, an approach which is to be very much, what is that? Spoon feeding kind of approach, which we don't do normally. Bigger teachers. So therefore, what we do, we are not allowed to go for and teach nursery class or junior device, because पहले तो student देख के भाग चले जाएंगे. क्यों? क्योंकि यहाँ पे वो teachers है ना, बहुत soft way में behave करते हैं, और हम लोग एकदम hard way में behave करते हैं. Okay, so now what is important? So likewise, Rutherford did not mention where exactly the electron should be present. ठीक है ना? हो गया ये?
Yes.
Okay, now another person came forward. Who was that? What this Bohr? Can I just call this? Okay. Now, Bohr का कहना क्या था कि sir, if you consider an atom, and then he said, for example, let us consider this particular atom in this manner. Bohr, Neil Bohr from Denmark, he came out with this concept, Bohr's model of an atom. according to the researcher, he said that my guru, my Mahaguru had given that nucleus should be in the center, which consists of protons and neutrons, right now? And the electrons, okay, are going to revolve. Now see what kind of the electrons, where they're going to be present. According to the researcher Bohr, he said if this is the nucleus of an atom, where protons and neutrons are present, then the electrons are going to revolve in a closed circular orbits or paths or shells, okay, in these, for example, well-defined paths, and these well-defined paths are called as what? Orbits. So that means electron is present in the first orbit, or then electron can be present in the second orbit, or the electron is present in the third orbit, or electron is present in the fourth orbit, or electron is present in the fifth orbit. That means here, electrons are supposed to revolve around the nucleus in these fixed circular paths only. And these fixed circular paths are called as what? Shells or orbits. And since they are possessing energy, they are also called as what? Energy levels. Starting from the nucleus. It shows to the world that atoms cannot collapse. Okay, that is like a planetary model of an atom, where this is the sun, and sun ke around mein first Mercury, then Venus, then Earth, then Mars, then Jupiter, and all those planets will become. Okay, so likewise, according to this researcher board, the first orbit can contain what? For example, I designated as K, L, M, N, and so on. Okay, and that means why K? Because for example, K means what? At certain distance only electron will be present. Why? Because K का मतलब क्या? अगर electron नजदीक रहेंगे तो electrons will be sucked by the nucleus, so they should be away. इसीलिए K letter use कर रहे हैं. ठीक है? Now according to the researcher Bohr, the first orbit can accommodate what? 2 into 1 square. That means first orbit ka square. Okay, one square ka 1 into 2. That means how many electrons are possible? 2 electrons. Okay. Second orbit में, okay. Second orbit में क्या होगा? 2 into 2 square. That means how much? 8. Then 2 into what? 3 square. This is 18. Then 2 into 4. How much is it? 32 electrons. Then 2 into 5 square. How much is it? 50. So that means the electrons are actually what? Present in this, for example, order. That means the number of electrons plus where they are going to be present. Student of 9th standard will sit on the first floor. Student of 10th standard on the second floor. 11th standard will sit on the third floor, and then 12th standard will on the. That means as long as the students are there, without permission, they cannot. 9th standard students cannot go to the second floor unless and until teacher supplies or gives them permission. You go and get the book from this particular 10th standard child. Okay? So that means when the electrons are actually what promoted, they can be promoted only by the energy which is supplied from outside. The energy which is supplied to the electron is enough to promote an electron from first orbit to second. Or first orbit to third. Now electron, when it moves from first orbit to second or third, then the atom is in what state? Excited state. Remember? Okay? And that means atom is an unstable state, we can say. In other words, what is this? This is Bohr's theory of an atom. इसको बोलते हैं postulate. Postulate number 1, nucleus in the center. Electrons are going to revolve around, nucleus is closed circular paths which are called as orbits. And these orbits are having energy, fixed energy. And this energy is coming from the universe. The universe का energy. Okay, because matter तो बहुत कम है universe में. पूरा तो energy से भरा है. Okay, remember. So ये जो energy आपको मिल रहा है. Okay, ये सब energy किसमें है? For example, of different energy. Now, this energy go on increasing from first orbit to fifth orbit. That means the electron which is there in the fifth orbit will have higher energy, and the electron which is there in the first orbit will have lower potential energy. Clear? So, Bohr's theory. Huh? Okay. Now, ये हो गया कि नहीं सब? Now, what is important over here? Bohr को कोई किसी ने भी actually what negate नहीं किया, and on the basis of this, he said protons and neutrons present in the atom is called as what? Mass number of an atom. Okay, and the number of electrons which are there is equal to number of protons. So number of protons which is equal to number of electrons is called as what? Atomic number of an atom. Okay, this is mass number is denoted by what? A, and atomic number is denoted by Z. So what is neutron? Neutron number is mass number minus atomic number. Okay, so for example, an atom like for example carbon has got 6 protons, 6 electrons, and 6 neutrons. Suppose. So, what will be the symbol? How to represent this protons and total number of protons and neutrons? Below the symbol, you will write the atomic number 6. Above the symbol, you will write the mass number, which is nothing but protons and neutrons. How much is it? 6 plus 6, 12. This is the symbolization of that atom having mass number and atomic number. Okay, scientists have found out one more thing, that atoms of the same element having same atomic number but different mass numbers are called as what? Isotopes. Like hydrogen has got 3 aspects. I mean 3 types of what is it? For example, atoms we can say. So atoms of the same element having what? Same atomic number. Same atomic number but different mass number. So suppose you, let us say your mother tells you to go and get some apples from the market for the first time. Okay, when you go to the fruit market, you will find different varieties of apples. Green apple, Washington apple, okay, let us say Kashmiri apple, etc. But what is important, let us say the rates are slightly different, the sizes are different, clear, but nutrients are same, colors are different. That means the physical properties are different, but the chemical nutrients are same, or chemical composition is same. If one is containing vitamin A, vitamin what? What is that? There is iron content, Okay, iron content, other is also containing iron. Okay, and third is also containing iron. Whether it's green apple or any apple, but definitely they will contain the same composition. Okay, so what I'm trying to tell you, isotopes of the chemical properties are similar, but physical properties are different. How? Because they are atoms of the same element. Okay, then what about isobars? Isobars are nothing but what? Atoms of, isobars is a magnesium or aluminium. These are atoms of different elements having different atomic number but same mass number is one. इसमें क्या हो रहा है? Protons and electrons are different. Okay, but neutrons also are different. What is that? This is 15 and this is what? 14. But इसमें क्या है? Protons are same. Protons, electrons are same. What is that? 8, 8. Right, huh? And 8. Sorry, ऐसे लिख देते. यहाँ पे protons, electrons and neutrons. Protons are 8, 8 and then finally what? Neutrons, how much is it? In all these 3 cases, this is how much? This is 8, yes or no? But this is how much? 9 and this is how much? 10. Yes or no? Yes. But इसमें क्या हो रहा है? इसमें protons, electrons और neutrons अगर देखेंगे तो atomic protons एक का 12 है, दूसरे का कितना है? 12 भी है. Okay, दूसरे का कितना है? अगर protons 13 है तो इसका भी 13 है. But what about neutrons? 27 minus 12, how much is it? 14. 15. And this is how much? 27 minus, this is 14. Yes or no? And protons, electrons and neutrons are totally different. इसमें protons और electrons same रहेंगे, but neutrons are different. Okay, so these are the 5 terms. What is that? Mass number, atomic number, neutron number, isotopes and isobars. Clear? This is the end of the topic, more or less, I think so. Just check. But abhi end of the topic nahi hua hai. We have to draw one table in which there is a, तो थोड़ा read कर लेते हैं before we end up this lecture. ठीक है? अभी इसमें पूरा topic नहीं हुआ है. Question and answer we'll have to do it. Okay, but before that, please draw this diagram. Okay, Bohr's model लिख दो और इसमें अपना ये diagram बना दो. I think so. It's becoming warm, na?
Not sure. I think it's
नहीं.
cold.
ये fan बंद कर देते हैं. Let us see.
So you can.
वो fan बंद कर दो. ये fan चालू कर देते हैं.
हाँ. Sir, फिर भी ठंड लगती है.
25 है.
26.
26 कर देते हैं. Okay. राइट ना? टॉपिक ऑलमोस्ट थ्रू हो गया, लेकिन सिर्फ एक ही चीज है, वैलेंसी का कॉन्सेप्ट बाकी है, प्लस one table is there which is very useful table for your exam and they ask this question normally. ठीक है? चलो जूनियर वाला पढ़िए, वॉल्यूम से पढ़, उनको वॉल्यूम दे दीजिए, स्टार्टिंग से एक एक पैराग्राफ सब पढ़ेंगे, so that you know. And live page number, sit down and read. 63 page number.
From where?
Introduction है कि नहीं? हाँ, right.
Atoms and molecules are the fundamental building blocks of matter. The existence of different kinds of matter is due to different atoms constituting them. Are atoms really invisible? One of the first indications that atoms are not indivisible comes from studying static electricity.
Yes.
Electricity and the condition under which electricity is conducted by different substances.
Yes, if you rub, for example, let us say anything material from, for example, with your hand, and then you keep it near the bits of papers, you'll find they will get attracted. What is static? That means one is having positive charge, other is having negative, so they attract each other. That is the way. Okay, then and rubbing का मतलब है उसमें से charge negative निकल गया. Okay, it has gone to the other. It might be positive, and the other one is negative, so that's why it's attracting each other. So then, पढ़िए, मनस्वी पढ़िए.
Charged particles in matter. From these activities can be concluded that when rubbing two objects together, they become electrically charged. Where does this charge come from? It was assumed that the charge is due to static electricity. This question can be answered by knowing that an atom is divisible and consists of charged particles.
Yes, because of the charges are moving out of that matter. That's why it is divisible. Chalo, then.
The atom is not a simple indivisible particle but contains at least one subatomic particle.
Yes.
The electron identified by J.J. Thomson. Even before the electron was identified, E. Goldstein in 1886 discovered the presence of new radiations in a gas discharge tube and called them Cannon rays.
Right, very good. Padhiye, Edlin.
Okay. These rays were positively charged radiations which ultimately led to the discovery of another subatomic particle, the proton.
Yes.
The subatomic particle has a charge equal in magnitude but opposite in sign to that of the electron. Its mass was approximately 2000 times as that of an electron.
Yeah, they have given 2000. Actually, our value is 1840. Okay.
And in general, an electron is represented as E and a proton with a P.
P. Okay. Starting later. Come on. जितने अक्षर पढ़िए. कहाँ से पढ़ना है बताइए.
The mass of a proton is taken as 1 million and its charge is as +1. The mass of an electron is considered to be negligible and its charge is -1.
पढ़िए.
An atom is composed of protons and electrons mutually balancing their charges. The protons are in the interior of the atom.
Definitely. Core. Like our human being and animals, heart is the main organ. Okay? Where the whole blood is actually what present. Like where the whole mass of an atom, the heart of an atom is nucleus. पूरा यहाँ से चलता है एक process. Attraction, repulsion. ठीक है? जो then.
While electrons can be easily peeled off, protons cannot.
Yes. पढ़िए हाँ. नहीं first junjun वाला पढ़िए. वो order में जाएंगे ठीक है. What is your first name? I forgot. Bhavya. Sorry हाँ. Bhavya पढ़िए.
The structure of an atom. Dalton's atomic theory suggested that the atoms are indivisible. But the discovery of two fundamental particles, electrons and protons, inside the atom led to the failure of this aspect of Dalton's atomic theory.
Yes.
Thomson was the first one to propose a model for the structure of an atom.
पढ़िए. मनस्वी पढ़िए. Thomson's model.
Of an atom. Thomson proposed the model of an atom to be similar to that of a Christmas pudding. The electrons in a sphere of positive charge are like currents, dry fruits in a spherical Christmas pudding.
Yes, the pudding is nothing but what? Positively charged, and the negatively charged particles are nothing but those resins or dry fruits. Come on.
Thomson proposed that an atom consists of a
या तुम
positive.
टोमेटो सूप ले सकते हो. टोमेटो सूप में जो फ्राइड ब्रेड क्रम्स डालते हैं ना, तो फ्राइड ब्रेड क्रम्स आर नथिंग बट नेगेटिव चार्ज एंड टोमेटो पार्टिकल्स आर पॉजिटिवली चार्ज. ऐसे सोच सकते हो. Then
An atom consists of a positively charged pair and the electrons are embedded in it.
yes,
The negative and positive charges are equal in magnitude, so the atom has a voltage
electrically neutral. Okay, come on. Edlin पढ़िए.
Although Thomson's model explained that atoms are electrically neutral, the results of experiments carried out by other scientists could not be explained by this model.
Rutherford's model of an atom. Ernest Rutherford was interested in knowing how the electrons are arranged within an atom. Rutherford designed an experiment for this. In this experiment, fast-moving alpha particles were made to fall.
Why it was fast moving? Because क्या हो रहा है? अगर fast moving नहीं होगा, तो क्या होगा? ये nucleus उसको फिर से repel करेगा. Because alpha particles have to be positive and they are positive here. अगर जब तक kinetic energy overcome नहीं होगा, यानी this overcome the repulsive forces, तब तक वो penetrate नहीं कर पाएगा. That's why high speed alpha particles are fast. Otherwise, it will face repulsive tough resistance from the nucleus. ठीक है कि नहीं? Okay, चलो. Then
He selected a gold coin because he wanted as a thin layer as possible. This gold coin was about 1,000 atoms.
1,000 atoms thick. Trisha ना?
Yes.
हाँ, Trisha पढ़िए.
Alpha particles are doubly charged helium ions since they have a mass of 4u. The fast-moving alpha particles have a considerable amount of energy.
Good. Next one. Bhavya पढ़िए.
So,
Which point? Trisha? Third point.
particles are
Alpha particles are doubly.
Alpha particles are double उसके बाद
It was
वाला. हाँ.
expected that alpha
it was expected that
हाँ, चलो.
it was expected that the A particles would be different.
Where is Anurag today?
Anurag is hospitalized.
Oh, क्या हुआ?
He has fever or something. Same with Aditi, she's unwell too.
Oh,
Different
take care of your health. Your health is wealth. Remember, studies तो होता रहेगा, ठीक है? लेकिन अपना not at the cost of studies. You have to spoil your health. Eat well, sleep at proper time, ठीक है ना? And then get up at proper time also. जल्दी उठना है.
Reflected by the subatomic particles in the gold atom, since the particles were much heavier than the proton.
और stress मत लेना. Marks कम आए तो don't take stress, undue stress. Today it might be low, but बाद में increase होगा. So don't worry about it. This is not the end. ठीक है? Everybody may not go to IIT, but some of them will be actually what? Doctors, engineers. तो अलग-अलग. That's why सब IIT में चलेंगे तो डॉक्टर कौन बनेगा? या सब डॉक्टर बनेंगे तो IIT में कौन जाएगा? Right? तो ये माइंड में रखना है. आपका जो टैलेंट है वो लॉन्ग टर्म में जाएगा. ठीक है ना? चलो. Then
He did not expect to see a large contribution.
Edlin, what do you want to do?
Become a microbiologist or doctor.
Doctor. So you are in the doctor, this medical field, right? Na? So some might be writers. They are reading books continuously, isn't it? Edlin, you might become author also of some books later on. Okay? Sidney Sheldon. Okay? Or maybe some other author. Someone famous. 10 bestsellers are there in the net. आप देख सकते हैं. चलो. Who's having that habit of reading the books?
I like reading.
You like reading, because then you actually what all stress level आपका इतना कम हो जाएगा कि कभी आपको marks का ये नहीं लगेगा. चलो पढ़िए. Last thing, so time is up. Next time we discuss. Okay, thank you very much. थोड़ा कुछ doubt है तो पूछ लेना next time. Okay, but very short and sweet topic. So next time हो जाएगा. And next time we'll go for the questions of this topic also. ठीक है? और कुछ doubt रहेगा तो पूछ लेना. फिर से I'll repeat that.
Thank you.
चलो, thank you. बंद कर दो AC थोड़ी देर. वैसे तो now it has become okay, right? देखना तुम लोगों को नहीं चाहिए तो बंद कर. But keep remote over here. चलो, you take the notes from others, and पीछे let us see when we can have the previous topics also. कुछ doubt रहेगा तो उसमें कर ले. When is your first semester?
We were done with the questions.
हो गया ना? So this portion will not come again, na? It will come. So you tell me any doubts are there, then we have an extra lecture arranged for you.
Yes, you know. Yeah. बचपन से
I was going to introduce her. It's okay.
Aditya
say
एक घंटा हो गया, ये स्टार्ट टाइम आ गया एक
और उस दिन को 2 कंटिन्यूस
दो ये टाइमिंग मार्क करवा रहे हैं जो आ रही है